This is Stewie with 20 IQ. Celebrities, you talk to them. Da! And this is Stewie with 750 IQ. Wait, you bred a pig? Most genetically perfect one in the contest. Oink. The question is, what is Stewie's real IQ? Well, to find out, we'll be looking at several big brain moments, each one increasing his IQ power bar until it becomes a god. But for now, let's start at 130, a bit below his base IQ. Even when Stewie's brain isn't working to the best of its ability, he's still got an above average IQ. He's sitting right around the 130 mark for the first entry, which is actually the same as former Terminator and Governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. This score comes from the time he decided he wanted to take a break from all the evil doing and become a beekeeper. And he's making some pretty nice honey. You could probably sell this stuff. You think it's that good? Plus it's local, it's straight from the hive. You could probably charge like $20, $30 a jar. Stewie listens to Brian's advice and decides to set up a stall at the farmer's market. And his honey starts selling like hot honey. This is superfood full of GMOs. GMOs are bad. No GMOs whatsoever. Amazing. This is great. We've only been here an hour and we're almost totally sold out. But his special honey takes a long time to make, and with only 4,000 bees, Stewie's gonna need something more to keep his supply up there with the demand. So he gets his thinking cap on and creates some bee steroids. Okay, well, how much are we supposed to give them? It says this is enough for a horse, so I don't know, how many bees is a horse? Stewie's steroids make the bees work overtime and they pump out all the honey he needs in no time. But when he goes to sell it at the farmer's market, I don't think his new super bees are too happy. Oh, crap. My God, Brian! And when Stewie said he gave him steroids, he wasn't messing around. These little fellas are jacked. To get rid of the bees, Stewie needs to get rid of the hive, so he figures launching it somewhere else is the best bet. So he uses his seesaw to send it flying all the way to Rob Gronkowski's house, and it looks like they're his problem now. There's a ton of them. They're up the party bus. We're moving. Bees. And they're showing blitz. We gotta leave on 2. That takes care of that. Stewie was smart enough to genetically enhance the bees to pump out more honey, but he is also stupid enough to give them an overdose. It just goes to show you can be as smart as you want, but you'll always need common sense at the end of the day. The only way is up for Stewie, though, when it comes to his smarts. The next episode, we'll be taking a look at what puts him in the 160 IQ range, the same as the great Albert Einstein. Yeah, sure, Einstein tackled theoretical physics and special relativity, but has he ever tried to wipe out the world's supply of broccoli? Stewie has. It all comes from the time Lois tries to force feed him some. Hey, well then, who the hell do you think you are? My goal becomes clear. The broccoli must die. With his target in mind, Stewie spends the next few days studying his foliage foe and finds a critical weakness. Cold kills broccoli. All I need to do is build a machine to control the global environment. A few sprinkles of genius with a chance of doom. Stewie starts working on his weather controlling device, but despite being a literal genius, he's not a miracle worker. He needs something to help amplify his machine across the globe, and when Peter comes home, he's got just the thing. What's this? The witness provider has finally brought me something of value. I can use that crude device to amplify my deadly signal. Stewie in the earlier seasons was a lot more evil, wasn't he? His plan goes without a hitch as he constructs a bigger contraption on the roof of the house, causing freezing rain to sweep the globe. Very well, broccoli. But it doesn't matter how smart you are, you can never predict the weather. Victory is mine. Damn it. Oh. So with that, the world's broccoli reserves are saved. Good thing too, because I'm a sucker for some tender broccoli. The next level of IQ for Stewie puts him on par with Isaac Newton, the man who discovered gravity. Now, when you think how Newton did all that super scientific stuff in the 1600s, it is crazy. But is it better than building a robot brain capable of self-thought? Nope. And Stewie does just that in the episode Guy Robot, when he builds a new robot buddy to replace Brian after he ditches Stewie. Sorry, not a robot. He's actually a human mind mortal adaptive supercomputer. His name is Lyle. Perhaps we should offer this guest a beverage. Yeah, what he said. Lyle's not just for show, though. Stewie's programmed him with some pretty cool and pretty creepy features, like this one. This is pathetic, Stewie. You really must be desperate for friends. Lyle, access Brian's phone. Look at that. You only have 4 contacts. That is pretty embarrassing, Brian. Maybe you shouldn't have ditched Stewie. The thing is, though, it's not just Brian who wants some friends. Lyle does, too. As Stewie is programmed him to get smarter and smarter to stimulate himself, he creates 2 more robots just like him. Okay, not robots, but whatever. Blah, blah, supercomputer thing Stewie said earlier. Hey, I never said I was technical. But what's going on here? I've built a few friends for myself. But I've outpaced your intelligence. I needed to create some friends who are my cognitive peers. Are they doing math on glass? Might have mocked Brian before, but without Lyle, Stewie is pretty lonely. So to impress his inventions, Stewie stoops to new lows. Hi, David. We're friends now, right? How about you throw it all up back into the bottle? Don't spill a drop. Then Stewie does probably the smartest thing he's done all episode. He apologizes, makes up to Brian, gets him back on his side, and the pair start to plan a way to get rid of the mechanical menaces. I'll warn you, it's not going to be easy, getting smarter by the minute. I designed them to be constantly adapting. It's done. I sprayed him with a hose. So what does Stewie do with them? Repurpose them into some weapon or vehicle? No, he leaves them out for the garbage men and anyone else who happens to stroll on by. How can this not be a trap? Now we're starting to get into scarily smart waters. A 230 IQ has only been seen a handful of times in humanity, and Stewie smashes into that conversation to the episode Mission Impossible, where after Lois' sister has a baby, Lois and Peter decide they want to try for another one of their own, and Stewie's not happy. I'm the baby. Why the deuce will they want to replace me? My bottom is smooth, my laugh is heartwarming. Oh! So Stewie makes it his mission to stop his mom and dad from doing the deed, and at first he does the usual stuff, like, you know, a normal baby. Where? Mommy, Daddy, I had a bad dream. I saw the boogeyman. Yes, that's it. I saw the boogeyman. Well, as normal as Stewie can be anyway. The whole boogeyman act doesn't buy him much time, though, as Peter and Lois are at it all the time. So he takes things to the next level with another robot. Who's got beer? Where'd you go, my little pumpkin eater? Kissing you made me purr. Then Ned and Chris come storming on in and put an end to the imitation Peter, giving the real one just enough time to worm his way back into the bedroom. Watch it! Peter! What? I see nothing. Stewie decides to pull out the big guns, or small guns, I should say. He will then. If I can't stop them from the outside, I'll stop them from the inside. Yet Stewie's plan is to make himself tiny and to enter Peter's body, preventing the pair from ever having another baby ever again. I can't tell if it's more impressive or more evil. Maybe it's just impressively evil, or evilly impressive. Anyway, Stewie heads straight for Peter. I suppose your fate was to fly, so is the fate of every sperm in Peter's body. Stewie starts open firing at Peter's crown jewels, taking out swimmer after swimmer. Well, you know what to do. Bad day to be a sperm. He's making short work of these guys, ain't he? Then again, you gotta remember he's beaten all these guys before. But just when it looks like an easy victory for Stewie, he runs into Bertram. Hey, it seems you're out of ammunition. As are you, Stuart. You knew my name, and perhaps we should exchange monosyllabic expressions of arrogance in person. Yeah. The two meet and Stewie gives Bertram a beat down, but stops short when he realizes that the pair have a little more in common than he first thought. My one regret is that I won't be able to do away with that red-headed woman. How the devil do you know about Lewis? You hate Lewis. With Bertram looking like an ideal candidate for a brother, Stewie decides he wouldn't mind a fresh face around the house, so tries to set things up with his mom and dad to make it happen. But when he goes to check on them to make sure they're still at it, he ends up killing the mood. You must receive his seed. Look who's here. But Lois, we still get to do it, right? Not in front of Stewie. Back in a minute. No, come back in, which ironically was not a smart move. It doesn't discredit all the other stuff in that episode, though. The robot Peter shrinking himself down to microscopic levels, the fact that he's built and can fly a ship, and the fact that he has an immense understanding of the human body. This kid is crazy smart, and we're not even done yet. The highest IQ ever recorded sits at a staggering 276. And I think it comes as no surprise that Stewie soars through that number on a couple of occasions. Like the time he constructed a whole reality where he tried to kill Lois just because he can. Say hi to Cleveland for me. Man, it's a good thing this is all a simulation. Hey, Stewie, we got a postcard from Peter and Lois on the cruise. Oh, hello, Brian. They need to bring one of these simulation machines out before GTA 6, which, with the way things are going, could be likely. The next bit of brilliance from Stewie is actually disgusting. It's from the time he collects Brian's DNA and uses it to get himself pregnant. And it works. Hey, I need you to take me to the doctor for my prenatal vitamins. I'm not taking you anywhere. I think it's best if we just move on. Sometimes science doesn't need to go that far. Although, if there's one time Stewie needed to stretch science to its limit, it's when he brought his best friend back from the dead. As you know, Brian was famously killed off in season 12 while he and Stewie were playing a bit of street hockey. Brian, look out! Oh, Brian! Man, it still hurts to watch that. After the death of Brian, the entire family goes into mourning, but obviously Stewie is hit hard. He tries to think of ways to bring Brian back, and he becomes obsessed with rebuilding his time machine after he broke it in the episode Yargilamop, but he just can't find the parts anymore. It'll be completely impossible to build a functioning time machine. I guess that means Brian is really gone for good. The grief of losing his best buddy doesn't leave Stewie, but neither does hope. The little guy figures that due to the multiverse, there has to be another version of himself out there with a time machine that'll cross his path, and that's what he remembers this. Boy, it's me. It's me from the past. Several months ago, I time traveled ahead to purchase that Christmas toy. Stewie figures out that his other self will know there's something strange going on if he just walks right up to them, so instead he gets Vinny, Brian's replacement, to try and pry the time machine return pad away from the other Stewie. But I feel like the backpack might be hiding some figure flaws. That is where you are wrong, my friend. Stewie, why do you throw up after every meal? This is why. So before his other self catches on, Stewie flashes back to the past to save his best friend. Ryan, look out! You're alive, my friend. Of course I'm alive. What the hell's going on here? I still find it crazy that the writers killed Brian off only to bring him back 2 episodes later. But hey, I'm not complaining. Planning all that stuff with Brian is pretty next level, but we kind of glossed over a 1-year-old inventing a whole time machine, which, by the way, you need an IQ of at least 310 to even begin thinking about building one of those. I mean, it's that far beyond anything humanity has ever done to this point. That poor old Mort thinks it's a high-tech porta potty. And you know why Stewie invented it? You're probably thinking to rule the world or something, but nah. He just wanted to stop his teething pains. I wish I could make the pain go away sooner, but I can't turn time forward. Perhaps I can. I'd simply build a machine that could move time. I should call it a time machine. All the other stuff we've shown so far is kind of possible either in theory or practice, but no human will ever be able to go back in time. Forwards? Maybe. Not back. Kind of makes you realize just how brainy this kid is. Although, if I start to think about it for too long, I get a headache. But the little guy is far from done. He's conquered time travel all right, but what about multiverse travel? Well, he's got that covered too. And to prove it, he takes Brian on a multiverse tour. And since we're mentioning the multiverse, Stewie's IQ is now sky high, smashing through the 400 barrier. Where are we? This is Cohort Brian, but in this universe, Christianity never existed. The dark ages of scientific repression never occurred. Hey, not bad, you know, considering the whole multiverse thing means that there's an infinite amount. But this isn't Rick and Morty, so Brian and Stewie's tour doesn't last forever. Their next stop ends up being something a little more familiar. Rock, Peter? That was wonderful, Rock. So we had last rock night. I enjoyed rocking you up the rock last night. I think we get the rockin' idea there. Things get old fast, so they hop to the next universe. Apparently, this is a universe where everyone has 2 heads. One happy, one sad. I sure have. He's over there playing in the corner. Then in one of the most famous Family Guy scenes ever, where they get to their next stop, it seems like a wonderful day for pie. It's a wonderful day for pie, and they'll tell you real sweet with a musical tweet. Day for pie. So check out that song if you haven't already. It's gonna be stuck in my head all day now. Despite that cool song and the Disney animation, Stewie and Brian come unstuck when they teleport to a universe where dogs are humans and humans are dogs. And Brian clearly has a liking for this new world, so he doesn't want to go home. I just don't think we should be too hasty. Have a unique opportunity to study alternate universes in depth. Pivot. Don't give it. Hang on. Don't run. Come on. What the hell, man? So similarly to what we saw Stewie do to save Brian's life a little while ago, he decides that he needs to find the puppy version of himself, as he'll be able to help get him and Brian home. But if there's a puppy Stewie, there's gotta be a human Brian. Say hi. My daughter Meg, our puppy Stewie, and this is our human Brian. Nice to meet you. Say hi to human Brian. They eventually do get help from puppy Stewie to get back home, but the duo becomes a trio when human Brian wants to lift back to the world where humans rule. I mean, who could blame him? Although when he gets his first shot to be out in the open, he doesn't exactly take it. Look at him go. Free in a world of his own kind. Reach the full potential. Oh my god, he got hit by a car. Now, what if I told you Stewie Griffin created our universe? Wouldn't you call him a god or something? Or someone with at least God-level IQ? It all starts in the Big Bang Theory episode. No, it's got nothing to do with Jim Parsons. Basically, after Stewie and Brian have a fight over an Abercrombie and Fitch, Stewie starts abusing his time machine to go back and mess with Brian throughout history, like stealing his peanut butter jelly time thunder. Hey, where the hell's my banana thing? Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Oh. Brian eventually realizes what Stewie's doing and ends up fighting him right near the console of the time machine. They end up inputting a number that glitches the time machine and it shoots the pair outside of the space-time continuum. And Stewie's return pad won't work. Possible. The return pad works by locking onto our coordinates along the curve of the space-time continuum, but it can't. And how are they gonna get up there? If I overload the return pad's reactor, it might release enough energy to blow us back. It's too risky, but it'll break my thing. We could both die. Well, you at least have to try. They end up risking it at the chance of living again and shoot themselves right back into the universe. We made it. Yeah, we made it. Okay, now tell me the joke. It's just this bit about a Planned Parenthood clinic on Halloween. Next. After a night back in their own universe, Stewie scans the place and realizes that they're responsible for something pretty big. The universe is cosmic background radiation, a kind of echo of the Big Bang. It matches the energy spectrum of my return pad. It means my return pad's explosion was the Big Bang. See, I told you, which means I created the universe, Prial. You were born in the universe. It's called a temporal causality loop. The universe created me, so I could create it, and so on. Best not to think about that bit or your head might explode. Stewie Griffin has one hell of a brain, and that football-shaped head of his. We've seen him create super weapons, human-dog hybrids, and even the universe. So I think it's safe to say his real IQ might just be off the charts. But Stewie isn't the only interesting character we got around here. Oh no! What about this guy popping up on screen right now? He looks pretty interesting to me. So give him a click to find out more.